Hi, here's Michael Leander, international speaker, trainer, consultant, and board member. This is take 499 of my Marketing Foundation video series. This is the first one, and if you're looking for the rest, look around my blog or YouTube. Just search for Michael Leander Marketing Foundation, and you should be able to find it. So this series of short videos is motivated by the fact that I speak to a lot of marketers and in many different countries, industries, and from companies of all sizes, from small ones to very, very large ones. And what has stricken me, I think is the English term, in 2012 is how many of them are talking about the latest fad. So many of them are talking about social media and mobile marketing and whatnot. They're talking about a lot of different channels that may on the offset seem interesting and maybe a little bit sexy to work with, but not many of them are talking about the problems they have with the foundation of their marketing setup. So I'm going to try to draw a little bit of attention to an area of marketing that I think is incredibly important, and I think that too many marketers aren't paying any attention to at all. So to keep this simple, I'm gonna only include channels or aspects of marketing that relates to digital. Needless to say, non-digital is also a very important part of marketing, but as I said, to keep it simple, I'm going to talk about digital. So let's get started. I'm probably going to cover 5 or 7 of the important pillars in your marketing foundation. And the first of them is objectives. So setting your objectives. Ask yourself, do you actually know what your marketing objectives are for all of the coming year? Do you know what your marketing objectives are for this quarter? Do you know what your marketing objectives are for this week? What is it that you need to accomplish with whatever resources you have available? That needs to be very, very clear to you at any given time if you work in marketing. Now, if you don't know your objectives, if your boss hasn't told you, then you need to go ask her what exactly it is that you are trying to accomplish. Now, I believe that part of the Marketing Foundation is a set of very easily measurable objectives. And some of these objectives will be longer term, but for sure, if you're working in digital, a lot of them will be short term. And a lot of them you'll be able to measure, if not day by day, then week by week. And you should be able to measure, and you should have access to the data so that you will be able to see whether or not you're on track with your marketing investments or not. So I'll talk in one specific video, I'll talk more about setting objectives, and I'll try to give you some guidelines to how you can set your objectives, how you slice your big objectives into smaller pieces that are more easily management and also directly relate to the marketing activities that you are planning to do. Another part of your marketing foundation, in my opinion, is your data flow. Think about how you capture data from your website. Website, of course, is another part of your marketing, important part of your marketing foundation. Let me get back to that. Think about how you capture data. Think about how you manage your data. Think about the knowledge you gain about your audience through data. If you have a newsletter, for example, then think about how are you managing this data. How are you going to get more information about the individual person in your, let's say, your newsletter database in order to be able to serve them better. Let me get back to that in more detail in a separate video. The cornerstone of most people's marketing foundation, when we relate it specifically to digital, of course, is your website. And what I've learned over the last many years is that we don't pay enough attention to our website. We unfortunately very often when we build a website we have the wrong objectives with the website. Very often we actually don't know what our objectives are, we just know we need a website. And when we build them, we make decisions about what content we put on the website. Very often we are thinking about different things than we should be thinking about. If you look at your website now, is it very clear what what you are trying to accomplish with your website? Is it very clear what sort of benefit the website is going to give you? What type of return on investment you're going to get from your web presence? I guess that for like 90% of all marketers, the website is not aligned with their overall marketing objectives. Very often the website does not support what I call the funnel approach. The website is not particularly focused to get people to do whatever it is that you want them to do. So in one specific video I'm going to cover the whole website part, but I'd really advise you to look with very critical eye at your website or your websites, and then ask yourself, is this something that's going to help you achieve your marketing objectives or not? And if it's not, you need to start working on that. And to create great converting websites is no easy feat. It's something that requires focus and dedication and a bit of resources as well. Most of us, we don't want to deal with all these little details, but we should, because it's an important part of achieving what you want to achieve with your marketing activities. Another thing concerning your marketing foundation, of course, is your social presence. And a lot of us now are engaged in the Facebooks and the LinkedIns and the YouTubes and the Sing and Twitter and so on and so forth. But I'm gonna have to be honest here, I also think that a lot of us are engaged in those channels for all the wrong reasons. Part of your marketing foundation is understanding your objectives, short and long term. So if you look at your social media presence right now, and if you were to ask yourself, is this really helping me achieve any of my short or long term objectives? I'm afraid that many of us would come up with a no. And if we say no to what we're doing now, then obviously we need to ask the question, what do we need to change, or can I change anything that's going to help me achieve my marketing objectives through social media, for example? So looking at your marketing foundation related to social media, you may want to ask yourself, do you really need to be as active as you are right now on social media? Do you really need that presence on Facebook and so on? I don't know the answer to that. You know that. But I think it's a good thing to ask those critical questions. It's a good thing to look back into 2012 and then ask yourself and be honest. Did you actually accomplish anything from all of those likes? You know, I can be honest about my activities. I'm very, very transparent about what I do. And I'm pretty sure that I can say that everything I've done in Facebook in the past years has pretty much been a waste of time, if I look at it from a return on marketing investment. But I don't. I learn a lot from having a presence in Facebook and other channels, but that's because of what I do. I need to know what's going on, right? So in that way, this is definitely an investment area where I don't necessarily wish for any return. It'd be great if it happens, but that's not why I'm doing it. And so if you're a marketing consultant, advertising agency or whatnot, then you may have that same perspective. But if you're not, then, and you're not seeing any traction from your activities, then you might as well take the critical stance and ask yourself if you need to continue that presence. So another thing about when it comes to your marketing foundation, and probably I'll close with this one, is no, I'll save that for another video.